Hello, welcome to a video. In today's video, I'm going to be redesigning my partner's logo because I'm a graphic designer and they are not. This video is really fun. I hope you enjoy and consider subscribing because I'm going to be making way more like it. This is about to be a whole series. It's going to be amazing. Enjoy! Hello, Iz. My love.
Hello.
Do we start the video?
Yeah.
Get your monster.
I don't know if you heard that.
Candle.
Monster, should we cheers them?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Anyone who uses a Mac or even an iPhone, have you updated to the new macOS or iOS? Like, genuinely, it has been horrible to use. Like, you can confirm this is. We have spent so long just me preparing this, and I was ready. It's been so, like, it's pretty. But one, this is an M2 MacBook, right? 2022. This thing is fucking struggling on the new update. I'm just gonna put that out there. There are lovely moments where there's just lag spikes. Ugh. So, Izzy is an artist, right? In your own right. You can do some cool textiles. You can do some.
I can print.
Yeah.
Can I show print?
You can show a print, of course you can. Izzy is an artist in their own right. More traditional, though. Izzy does some lovely prints based on, in this case, the musical Starlight Express. Do you want to say which versions?
1984 Electra, current German production.
And also has done some great textiles. I will put some on screen. Your Nightmare Before
It
Christmas
is
corset.
mine.
Anyone?
In my American Idiot costume.
Yeah. One thing Izzy isn't is a graphic designer. I am. I am a graphic designer, and some say maybe the best graphic designer. And I remember during college, we were doing this whole project, and we had to make a logo. This was great for me because I just cheesed it, and I just reused my logo and just adapted it because I've already had one. And obviously, you had to make a logo, but you're not a logo designer.
It was bad.
For someone who's not a logo designer, it's not horrible. And obviously, I'm biased because I actually wrote in my sketchbook, wrote out a list of problems for you that I wanted
with my logo.
I wanted to go through with you. Yeah, I had a look at it and a to fix. So basically, I'm going to tell you everything. Your logo is not scalable. On your portfolio, you have it used small as well, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's also really crowded. Crowded logo, right? And you can get away with that, assuming you have other versions of the logo, but you don't. Right? Doesn't say Izzy, if you know what I mean. It doesn't feel like you enough, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you were forced in a lesson of college with a teacher you don't like to do something, and all they were saying is base it around something you like. And so they kept trying to make you use the font that My Chemical Romance used for the Black Parade, even though it would have looked terrible. And so you settled on the font Mum's Typewriter, which is the font they use for Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. And it's just not right. And your whole thing is kind of inspired by Ryan Ross. And Ryan Ross is great. I mean, I've copied the swirls a little bit from him. I took inspiration there. But the difference is you're not Ryan Ross. You know, you're not Ryan Ross. You're your own person. And it just doesn't give it enough.
Yeah.
You have a style, and I think it needs to reflect that. Here's the to fix. Multiple variants for every use case. Supporting assets for branding. Comes together in a brand sheet. Basically, I'm gonna make you a proper, like a style, you know, that you can, so it won't just be like, it won't just be like this. There'll be different versions, you know. We'll have one that says Izzy Charlton, unless you want it to say Isabel.
I think Isabel's probably better.
Okay, fine, yeah, fucking whatever.
Sounds better. It just sounds more professional, and I think I'd rather brand myself as Isabel rather than Izzy. Izzy's more like a nickname.
And I'll help you with your portfolio.
What's next?
I gotta show you something.
Are we gonna discuss what I want in my logo?
Yeah. We'll discuss what you want. Yeah.
What was the point in that?
I just really wanted you to see that. So, what do you actually want in your logo?
I kind of want to ditch the red slightly. At the moment, I have a lot of pink on me. I have pink hair, I have pink headphones, my favourite colour is pink. And I think the idea of using some pinks instead of reds would be, like, much softer. Yeah, for, like a soft kind of pastel pink. Maybe. That's just me wanting to, like, I've been thinking about this because I don't want the red anymore. Like, I don't have red hair anymore. I want the pink to be able to be swapped out for whatever colour I dye my hair next, if possible, kind of.
That's what I was thinking.
Do you know what I mean? I think it can reflect what colour I have my hair at the time, if I want. I dye my hair a lot.
So basically, you want a logo that's kind of a bit Ramona Flowers.
I'd want, like, a bit of black as well, because I love a black and pink. That's kind of one of my favourite colour combos. I'm going to do some black in my hair at some point. As for, like, imagery in it, a lot of my usernames are, like, all star something. So maybe, like, some star imagery could be, like, a cool link to what my username is on, like, 90% of things I use. Apart from that, I'm not like, you know me, you know what I like. Like I like cats, like use kind of things that you think like reflect me. Like I don't want to do like a sewing needle or like like a
Oh,
mannequin.
we're avoiding that.
Like that
Don't worry.
good. I don't like the kind of things that's like, here's a paintbrush because I paint.
That is okay. You've got me on something. That is a very common beginner graphic design issue.
Mm,
Because if you're
yeah.
doing that, everyone else is doing that. Like that is like
Yeah.
you just look like you're using a
I
Canva
think
template.
we
It
got
really
told to
cheapens.
do that
Yeah, it really
when we did our
cheapens the
logo.
design. Wait, did we actually?
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
tried to convince me just, like,
god.
to do, like, a sewing needle or something, and I'm like, "But I do other things as well, like, I draw, I do print,
Mm,
I sew, yeah, I do
mm.
photography, I do a lot of things." But,
Yeah.
to be honest, I do trust you fully to kind of take your some of, like, creative liberty, and you know what kind of things I like.
Right. Well, I've got everything I need. So, I'm gonna get on with it.
Yeah,
Cool.
we shall never speak again until this is done.
Yes. So, now that I knew what Izzy wanted, it was now time to start actually designing. First thing I did was to begin sketching. I wanted to create a bunch of ideas so that I could, create the best thing. And then I was going to take it all digitally. Planning is actually important, it turns out. So, one of the things Iz said they wanted was stars. Their existing branding online tends to favor the all-star name. And so I thought, to keep all this branding coherent, it would only make sense to sort of theme it around a star. And also, it would allow me to do some really cool imagery that I haven't really done before, as well as some really cool symbolism, which I will show you as I design it. So when I was sketching, the first thing I sketched out was a star with an IC next to it, being Izzy's initials. Just like that. Obviously, this star looks really bad, and is also really basic. So I tried a couple more, putting the star in like a circle and stuff, but honestly, I wasn't really feeling it. So I tried a different idea. This idea started here, with this circle with something wrapping around it, which I tried to refine here. I really liked. I love the idea of something going through it. I did a couple more, and I reintroduced the star, as well as like the star on its own with the thing going through it. Also, a little bit of type there, but that's not really important to the story. It was more me gauging, because we never actually spoke about typefaces, so I wanted to gauge how it would look in a sans serif font. So when I was sketching further, I broke it down into this sort of symbol, the simplest form of what I'd been sketching, which gave me this looping around, which I drew out here. Because the thing about it is I didn't just want to have this cool symbol, I wanted it to mean something. So I separated it out to think, why would this exist? Why would an artist like Izzy have this in their logo? And the reason I settled on is obviously Izzy is in costume textiles, working with thread. And thread is also very symbolic of bringing things together, especially in the art world. I think it's perfect. It's like bringing all of these different skills together. I thought that worked quite well. But there's more to it. Obviously, we have a star theme, so I wanted to research into stars, and the first thing came to my mind, especially with this shape, was the Orion constellation. Specifically, those like 3 stars in the middle that are very you see them in the sky. If you look for them, you'll find them. And I felt that was like perfect, and they could be like what guides the shape. Obviously, my sketches aren't scientifically accurate like an astronomer, but you can kind of see those like circles in there. Those circles are not planned to be in the design, but they are more to guide, sort of to show you it. And in the actual one, they'll be more accurate to the real thing. I then reintroduced the star again. However, I just wasn't feeling it being in the middle of the circle. Key thing about this star I'm using, by the way, this is specifically how Izzy draws stars. This is a method that I was taught by them when I needed to paint some stars in college. So there's kind of double meaning here. This is one, a very personal to Izzy style, even though it's being designed by a different designer. It is still how Izzy does it. Therefore, it's still kind of their art, and we will see more of that in this project. But it also kind of shows what I've learned from them as a designer, and it shows that their art and the way they do things has an impact. So that's kind of my thought going into this. I kind of designed this, right? You can see this box on there. Ignore that box. That was more for me. I kind of designed it in this circle with this composition, which I really liked. However, I did find that I was like, what do I do with this space? I put the box in. So then I thought, and this is visualized by that box, what if I just removed it? Which we can see here and kind of here. These very rough sketches, right? This is me playing with like how I kind of wanted the general composition of the piece to look. So this would have been like the logo, and these bits would have been Isabel and then Charlton. And it would kind of go up in the shape of Orion, but I didn't think this would execute well. So yeah, here's a more refined look as what we're going for. So now that I had all that done, it was time to actually start designing. And this went really smoothly. Okay, so when it came to actually designing digitally, I started with a little mock-up of what I wanted to create. This is kind of what I'm thinking, right? Very temporary colors. I think that this could look quite cool. This looked horrible. That was the point. It used temporary colors, the red and blue. I had no intention of continuing. Once I was happy with this, I could begin actually designing, which I believe I started off with a star, obviously central point, and I sort of plopped it in place, you know, did a bunch of shape buildery stuff to kind of get it all to look cool. Right, found an image. I kind of used that as a reference for the way the actual real world stars are placed to kind of get the shape right of like, I just created some circles and I got the shaping to be how I want it. And then based on that, I drew a curve through it to create that sort of curve effect, the thread. And you know, I also got rid of the rest of the circle. Did I say that? I don't even know. And then once I had all of it kind of laid out how I wanted, not like perfectly, I began looking for fonts.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once?
Me and Iz actually forgot to talk about this completely. However, obviously, they trusted me, so I trusted my gut.
I am one of those melodramatic fools.
I looked at like all kinds of fonts, except script fonts. I knew I didn't want a script font, and eventually decided I wanted to use like a kind of blocky-ish sans serif font. Is going for a sort of cutesy look. I think this will do it perfectly. And then I decided to lay it out, and it looked like shit. This is terrible. This is terrible. This is so bad. This is so bad. Oh my god. This is terrible. Okay, well, evidently this type isn't doing it for me. Ooh, that looks better. Turns out the font wasn't the issue. It was me. I then decided I needed a color palette, obviously, so I started putting in some colors. I decided on pink and blue. Obviously, Iz has pink hair. They did have pink and blue hair, which, you know, probably helped a little bit with deciding on that color, but generally I went for blue because it complemented it really nicely. Yeah, and there was still some adjusting to do, like the type wasn't perfect, but it was starting to come along really nicely. I also just want to quickly say that when I was doing the color stuff, my laptop actually had died. Thankfully, I didn't lose any progress. macOS is really good with that. But when it all came back, it was very laggy. And so things got kind of frustrating at this point. But we powered through. And with all that done, kind of all that was left was to design the brand sheet and like business card and stuff, which I decided I wasn't going to do any of this on camera and stuff. And I kind of just wanted to save all of this for the big reveal, which I will now take you to. Right. So the most horrible thing has happened. I recorded the whole segment. The recording got fucked. I don't know what happened, why it happened, but the audio is just, specifically Izzy's audio, is just corrupted. I'll show you what I mean right here. Let's hope this all works. Talk.
Hello.
Which kind of ruins the segment, doesn't it? So as a compromise, because obviously I can't just redo it all, unfortunately. I can't get that reaction again. I'm gonna get Izzy to tell you their thoughts, and I'm gonna run through it with you. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna run through it with them again, because quite honestly, I don't want the same thing to happen again. No, as a little compromise, I'll play their reaction. Just be aware that the audio is horrible, but I won't play much of it. What's the solution?
Ooh, it's pretty. I like.
So this is the little logo I've created. There is more to it.
Stuff.
Thank you. There's lore to it. That's right, there is lore. So with this presentation, I kind of just started by recapping on everything we already knew. Just to remind Izzy, on the old logo, did this cool little branding based around the old logo, whatever. So what's the solution? Boom! This is the logo I made. Here it is, a simplified version with no type, and here's a version with type. And you can see these little borders around. This is kind of the spacing. I don't really know what you call that, but there's spacing. Right, here's some fonts used. This is the sort of title font. This is also the same font used here and here. And then this is more for just like your body type, your paragraphs and stuff. These are the colors. I was so proud of this. I made this sort of follow the Orion belt. I think it's called the Orion belt. The Orion belt, I think, with the colors. And then I needed to get these in. Bean. This kind of follows like a sort of American diner type theme in the colors. So Bean, like coffee bean. Also Bean, like Izzy's cat, Crash, who they call Baby Bean. The reason for these names, Dinah, it's like the character in Starlight Express the musical, specifically the London one in Wembley, which I've actually seen. It was so good. I recommend you watch it. Called Dinah with an AH instead of ER at the end. Here's the lore. This is kind of explaining the influence based on Orion and visualizing it, you know, because it's all good showing that, but it you know, you get it, as well as the idea of a thread. This kind of showcases the star idea more literally, and how Iz does draw them like this, and is a way it was taught to me. I've already explained this, obviously. And this is kind of a mock-up of what their portfolio could look like, because right now their portfolio is quite bare bones in its visual style, and I think it could be a lot better. I will point out that I used the wrong logo here. I will show you the corrected one. This one, because obviously something we wanted was scalability. That's something the first version lacked, so I wanted to make sure it had it, and I found that with this logo, this little bit here just didn't scale too well, I feel. So I thought for this version, the one that will be seen really small, I should just remove it, as it helps keep the clear central focuses in frame. Here's a little business card I designed. I really struggled with this one, actually. But the way I figured this out was I loaded the size into Photoshop, actually, and I just started like putting down things, nothing of any real. I used a screenshot of the logo, and I just kind of figured out the composition. Then once I had the idea, I immediately went into Illustrator. Boom, supporting assets. So we've got what we just shown, another star here, and these cats, which, as is very rightly pointed out, came from a project we did together in college, where they did these little drawings and I did a poster for our exhibition, which didn't end up getting used, and the one that did get used looked much worse. So I just took these into Illustrator, I tweaked them. This originally had like sort of a upside down triangle for like the mouth area. I just thought it looked too aggressive, too hostile, and didn't have the cutesy theme I wanted, so I switched out for a little 3 on its side, a little OO type thing. I thought that was really cute. I imagine these can be used any rotation, really. So, and yeah, that's it. And here's a little segment I recorded with Iz right now so that they can confirm everything that they said earlier. So Izzy, because this totally worked the first time. Totally. What do you think of the logo and the whole everything?
I think it's really good, and it is significantly better than what I designed, because I'm not a graphic designer.
Is it everything you wanted?
It's everything I wanted and more. Because I didn't ask for the blue, and I got the blue, and I do love blue.
But you were going to say a but. There was a but there that you never finished.
Was there?
You went to say but.
But
So you liked it?
I love it. It gets 5 big booms from me. I think it's so great. I love the blue. I love the pink. It's literally exactly what I asked and more, because I didn't ask for the blue, and I got blue because I love blue. But you know, it's much better than what I designed, which is good, because now I have a good logo, so I can do art better.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoyed, please subscribe and give it a like. And actually, while you're at it, why don't you comment something? Maybe you have an idea for something. Maybe you want to see me make a logo for something. Or you just want to tell me how much you loved or hated it. No matter what it is, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Goodbye!
Do you have the time to listen to me whine